Okay, it's 3 o'clock. We're going to get started. Thank you everybody for joining us for our Chenango Forward Phase 2 reopening webinar. Very happy to have you with us today. As I noted earlier, if you can please keep your microphone on mute throughout the presentation. We have quite a few people expected today. We will be taking questions through the chat window, and we'll do our best to monitor those questions. We'll have some time. We have plenty of time at the end for questions for any of our speakers today, so please send any that you have through that. We are recording this presentation as well, and it will be available online later today. So today's webinar is about the Phase 2 reopening. And there's a lot from Phase 1 that we learned that we have some speakers to talk about and some updates from our county departments. First, our presenters for today. So you have myself, my name is Carrie Green. I'm the president and CEO from Commerce Chenango. And we also have Marcus Flint. He is the Public Health Director with Chenango County Department of Health. Matt Beckwith is the Director of Emergency Management, Chenango County Bureau of Fire. Unfortunately, Matt had some pressing business last minute that he had to attend to, but we do have the information that he gave us, and Marcus will be filling in for Matt. So I did want to thank Matt for the information and for helping myself. Marcus and Matt have been working really closely throughout this whole process, and thank you to both of them for their help. Also today, we have some special guests with us, and I'm very excited to have Melissa Beers. She is the owner of Teasers Hair and Nail Studio in Norwich, and JR Bogert, B&W Wine and Liquors in Bainbridge. We've asked them both to be speakers with us today because they are business owners who have some real life circumstances that they've been dealing with COVID and the reopening, and so they're going to be joining us today to share some of their experiences. Real quick, reopening guidelines. So as you know, we did move into Phase 1 back on May 15th. And what that meant was we met all of the 7 metrics that New York State set forth that we had to meet as the Southern Tier. So you have a map of what all of the regions are in New York State and then the metrics for reopening. So what we've heard from the state and from the governor is as long as we continue to follow and meet all 7 metrics, we will continue the reopening and the unphasing process. This data is monitored by the regional control room for the Southern Tier. So I sit on that as a representative, I sit on that as proxy to Supervisor Chairman Wilcox. And so I represent Chenango County for that. And then between myself, Marcus and Matt, we really help monitor this and share information with all of you. We are looking at Phase 2. So we're still saying tentatively because the governor today did not say officially that tomorrow was Phase 2, but if you take a look at the timeline, when we started Phase 1, 14 days would be tomorrow for us to go into Phase 2. Everything that we're hearing and everything from the control room says that our metrics are fine. We should be moving into Phase 2 coming tomorrow. One thing that we are still waiting for is some guidance from the state as far as what those industries under Phase 2 look like. And I really, really was hoping and optimistic that they would have the Phase 2 portal uploaded by the time we went on with the presentation today. They have not done that yet, but I do have a control room call later tonight. They moved it from this afternoon to this evening. So as soon as that information comes up and as soon as our Phase 2 businesses can go on and certify, we will let you know through social media and through the various means that we have. So please keep checking back for that. But Phase 2 is where we're at. Phase 1 is completed, and now we're talking about the next step. So what do some of those businesses within Phase 2 look like? So when we talk about Phase 2 reopening, one of the categories is professional services. I do have a note on this slide that we are still waiting for that specific industry guidance. There is a link there and where you can go to the Forward New York website to get this information. When you click on the site, you click on industry guidelines, and it brings up all the phases that are open and what specific businesses can be open under each of those. So like I said, it is not open yet, and I'm sorry that we didn't have it in time for today. We had hoped to be up by yesterday. But professional services, and I realize this topic is very broad. There's a lot of things you could say fit within professional services. I don't have specific criteria guidelines. Marcus and I talked about it earlier today on what professional services is. We have the feeling it's, lawyers and, that kind of office sort of setting. But again, we don't, you know, I've had questions about, does that mean, you know, does that mean personal trainers? Does that mean, you know, it's somebody asked who had a dance studio, you know, they're considering that's a professional service. I don't know that that's exactly what that means. I don't think a dance studio fits in professional services, but unfortunately I don't have that criteria. So professional services is one of the categories that is reopening in phase 2. Personal care is another one. I do have some guideline on this. So this is really meant for barbers and stylists. This is not nails. This is not tanning. This is not massage therapy. Personal care is strictly for hairstylists and barbers at this time. That was the guidance that we got yesterday on this, but still we're waiting for the details on that. Finance and insurance is another category that is part of phase 2. Retail, so as you know, retail has been available if you are doing curbside retail. So at this point, you were not supposed to be going into stores to shop. That's not what phase 1 was. Phase 1 was ordering online. You could order what you want. You could pick it up curbside. If there was not a possibility for curbside, you were allowed to go in one person just to pick up your order. But this is not for in-store shopping. So part of phase 2 is to allow for that. Some of the criteria, we can sort of guess what some of those criteria and the guidelines are going to be for retail. We're guessing reduced occupancy levels, probably as much as 50%, you know, making sure that, you know, like with restaurants and shopping, that the guards are there and you have social distancing and the aisles are wide enough. So I think you can speculate on some of the retail aspects that will have to be imposed moving forward. But that's the difference of this retail versus a phase 1 retail, if you were wondering. And administrative support is another area that is part of phase 2. So any of those support services within your offices, I know many people who they're not open to the public yet because they don't have that phase yet, but they have administrative support services within their business that they could bring back, is our understanding of what this is. And then real estate rentals and leasing is another category. So you know, as I said, we will keep checking that website. We will get the information out as soon as it's available. I promise. We'll share it out everywhere we can. We'll send an update to everyone who's on this email list who is a part of this today. I know this is information all of you need, and so we are on it. I've refreshed that page probably 100 times since yesterday. So we will be sure to get that information to you as soon as we have it. All right. Well, and next part of this, I'm very excited that we can have some businesses be a part of our discussion today. I think it's really important to have people who are living this every day be a part of learning what they're doing, learning how they've reinvented themselves, how they've reimagined their business. And that's what this was all about. So whether your business has been able to open, or if it's been open this whole time, it's not business as usual. Your business has not operated today the same it did 2 months ago. So if you were an essential business or somebody who was able to be open because of your classification, you had to change how you were doing your business. And when I was thinking about somebody who fit this, I was trying to think, who could I ask to come and talk about their business model? I thought of my friend JR Bogert. JR is the owner of B&W Wine Liquor, LLC in Bainbridge. JR is very active in his community. He's very active with the Bainbridge Chamber. I've known him for a long time. You know, he opened his business, I don't remember when, so I'll let him tell you. But they really, you know, I was really impressed by what I was seeing from what he was doing and how he was trying to, you know, provide service to his customers. So I am going to, JR, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Somewhere.
I'm here.
You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a weird connection, I think. Just there, just a second. I will just give a minute to figure out. JR? Not sure. I'm trying, JR. Hang on a sec. I don't know if it's on your end. All right, JR,
Okay,
you good?
let's give that a try. Everybody hear me now?
JR, we can't hear you. Oh, or I can't hear you.
I can hear JR.
We can hear him.
I can hear him.
Okay.
Yep.
So B&W Wine Liquor started about 4 years ago. Our community had been without a liquor store for a couple of years. The opportunity came up to purchase the building, which we did, and off we went. Historically, the liquor store business is not something that's really set up to be online, especially in New York State, because it's really more of a localized business where people purchase products from you, wanting to come in, see what you have. They're extremely specific in what they like and are looking for and like to consume. So normally the average consumer wants to come into a store, touch and feel, look around or browse. Also, New York State doesn't allow you to ship liquor specifically out of state. So once again, the online model really isn't anything that we really went after. Because of the size of our community, where we are, the classification for our type of store is really more of a convenience store, dealing with a local consumer that's within 5 miles. So when this all started out, we wanted to make it convenient and safe for customers who didn't want to go out in public and be in a closed setting, which our store is. It's only about 600 square feet. So we, of course, started to implement curbside pickup. And I kept getting questions about, do you have an online store that we can go on and preview what you have and make a selection? And the first couple times I said no, and then I'm like, maybe we should really look at implementing this, but to do it on our own, it requires putting in 1,000 SKUs, which are individual items and products that you have in a normal store. And Square had reached out to me, and they said that they could facilitate that for us. And they were reaching out to other retail businesses. So conversation with them, we agreed upon a timeline to set this up, which ran it into taking more time than they had anticipated. So I reached out to my current point of sale provider. They had access there, and within 10 minutes I was able to set it up through my current provider. And all of a sudden we had online ordering available where somebody could go in, select the items that they wanted, leave a phone number for us to call back. Now, in order for us to remain compliant with the New York State Liquor Authority, we still have to acknowledge and verify who we're purchasing, who is the purchaser. We have to verify age, etc. So our implementation was that we would call the customer back, verify who they were, verify their legal date of birth and age over 21, and delivery address, and then collect payment over the phone. So that was what we did to make it more convenient to the people that didn't want to go out in public. The other thing that we did that was very important was constant contact with our customers through social media. We just wanted to let everybody know that we were there, if we had any changes to our operating hours, which we have not yet. We don't plan on making any changes to that, but new products that were coming in, the season is changing, people are looking to get outdoors and enjoy themselves a little bit more, so staying in touch with people about the curbside pickup, delivery service, and then the new items that we were getting in is what we primarily focused on. Everybody hear that okay?
There you
Or
go.
was I just talking to myself?
It's okay. Technical difficulties, part of any good webinar, right?
Yes.
Is that anybody have any questions specifically about JR's business and how he's been able to maintain what he's been doing? If you have any questions, you could put them right through the Zoom chat. I'll stop for just a minute and let anybody that has a question about his specific type of business and how they've been able to do this successfully. Okay, well, we'll continue to take questions throughout the webinar. We can always come back to him, so JR, don't go anywhere. Thank you very much for providing this information. So we will, oh, actually we do have a quick question, JR, before you go away. Has business increased, decreased, or stayed the same for you?
So we have seen an uptick in sales because, in my opinion, the consumer that would normally take the family out to dinner or go out and have some social drinks at a bar or restaurant, they can't get that now. So we're seeing the sale of more mixers. We're seeing the sale of more items to make mixed drinks, Manhattans.
Okay.
Our sales are up fairly significantly, and I believe it's more of a funnel effect. We're still able to allow the consumer to get the products that they were getting, not only from us, but as well from a bar or restaurant when they went out for their social experience.
And JR, do you see any difference in just looking forward, I guess, is a question. Is this something, the curbside pickup, the online ordering, are some of these elements things you might continue to do in the future, even when things are back up and running? Do you feel like this is lucrative enough and it makes enough sense that this might change your business model a little bit?
As far as a huge change in our business model, no. People still very much like to come into a store and look at the physical items that they're purchasing. We do, by all means, still plan on offering the curbside pickup and the online ordering feature. It's been very beneficial to our sales and filling in that void for people who just don't feel comfortable coming into a store or whatever.
Great. All right, well, thank you. Well, like I said, we'll continue to take questions throughout the presentation, so if there's something we might loop back to you, JR. But I was really impressed that, I follow you on social media, and I love how, active you are with showing products and services, promoting your curbside pickup. So you've really done a great job. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you.
All right. So we're talking next about preparing for phase 2, and the big question is, are you ready? I know part of Are You Ready has to do with the state being ready, and the state isn't quite ready, but I think that there are things that we as business owners and business community members can do to get ourselves ready. And again, there's another business that really caught my attention early on and how they were preparing for phase 2. And that is Teasers Hair Nail Studio here in Norwich, just a couple doors down from us. And we have owner Melissa Beers on with us today. Melissa, are you all hooked up and good?
I'm good.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Melissa so she can talk about how she's looked at her business and what changes they're looking to do moving forward as we await the phase 2.
Okay. So as everyone knows, we were shut down March 21st, which has been 10 long weeks for everybody waiting to get their hair done. And during those 10 weeks, I've been on different states just reviewing what they have implemented as far as guidelines moving forward. So we have arriving early, definitely arriving early. We're not asking people to show up 15 to 20 minutes early to their appointment. We're just asking them to show up just a few minutes early. So we have time to do temperature checks. We're gonna have a consent form for people to read and sign before any services. This will help us keep a log of people that were in and out of the salon for the health department, just in case anybody does contract it. We can get that information out to people as quickly as possible. We're going to have a 10-person limit in the shop. Cleaning and disinfecting in between appointments. We do this anyway on a normal basis, but now the state is requiring us to keep a cleaning log. So this would be done on top of, after every client. We'll also be wiping down things such as our microwave, our shelves, our doorknobs, just common surfaces that people touch. That'll be every 1 to 2 hours as needed. It hasn't been stated, but we are going to not allow blow drying in the salon until the opening of phase 5. This is just because there's studies based that it's not clear yet if the blow dryer will circulate COVID-19 particles in the air. And if a client or staffer were to sneeze or cough, the blow dryer could quickly propel droplets in the air. We will resume the service after all phases open again. Also, we're not going to be doing no beard trims because, again, that's just close to the face. Our facial waxings will be suspended. Other than eyebrows, we will be doing just eyebrows. Obviously, we can't hug you. We love you. We miss you. Drinks will no longer be provided. We got rid of our coffee, our water machine. There's no magazines or books. Staff will get your retail purchases so we don't have to write stuff down, or so we don't have to clean stuff as often. So we'll get those for you. Let's see. So we will be working, we have 6 staff members here, so there'll only be 3 staff members operating every other chair in the salon. So it's well over 6 feet distance. We've taken out several chairs of our waiting room. So we do have just 2 chairs available for customers to sit and wait. Our appointments will be spaced out, obviously, to give us time to clean in between appointments. We are opening Monday through Saturday now, 8 to 8. So we have extended hours to try to get in the people that we have lost over the past 10 weeks and the ones that still are waiting to get in. So this is some signage that you'll find in probably every salon around. This will be probably required through the state. Obviously, social distancing. Our areas will be regularly disinfected. We will be using clean towels. Every client will have a clean, sanitized cape. They will not be reused. We will ask everybody to wash their hands for at least 20 seconds. Face coverings, that's an important one. They will have to be worn at all times. We will ask you to remove the mask from around your ear when we need to work around your ear. We will have masks available on site for people if they do forget them. And again, we can't hug you. And if you need products, just, please ask, just so it helps us for cleaning.
Okay. Thank you, Missy. I feel like you've done a really great job trying, thinking of your customers, thinking of the guidelines. You're in a unique situation where, I know there's been a lot of information shared by, was it the Cosmetology Association?
Yes.
Yes. So taking with their guidelines, I know you've taken a look at the state's safety plan template, which is the same no matter what your business is, and that's a way that you can get ahead on this. I know you reviewed that too to make sure that your guidelines are good with that. So there are quite a few people on the call today who are from the cosmetology industry. I don't know if any of those or anybody had any questions about for Missy about what it's like to get your business ready. Also knowing that we're waiting for the guidelines from the state. You have to certify. We're going to get to that in just a sec about what businesses have to do to be open during a specific phase. But does anybody have any specific questions for Missy that she can address?
I just throw a few notes in there. Carrie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to throw a couple other things out there. We will be, and I believe that all salons will be this way, no longer accepting walk-ins. Everybody will have to call ahead to get an appointment. That's just to help to reduce the people that are in the salon. Also, children, when children need a haircut, we ask them no longer to come like with their moms during the time that they're getting their hair colored or another service. We ask them to come in a different time. That was something that probably we should have covered there. This is my first webinar speaking. I feel
you're doing great.
a screen.
You're doing great, and I love that you're in the shop. If anybody's got the camera on, they can see. So somebody asked about the posters that are shown here. Is this something that you made, or is there some place people can go if they like these and they want to print them themselves?
Nope, these were found on different, like behindthechair.com. It's a place for hairstylists to go to. Just I have a lot of friends, acquaintances from that are hairdressers. So, you know, I follow them and get stuff like that from them. You know, we network all together. It's good that everyone tries to work together, especially in this industry. So, but they can find those. Those are on my our Teasers page, and you can copy those and print those off right from your computer.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a good point about, you know, networking and working together. It's really wonderful when people do that. There's no point in reinventing the wheel. I think everybody, if anything else, has found a way to connect with others in their industry and share ideas, and that's really important. So good. And Mayor Wade from Bainbridge said you definitely care for your customers. Good job. So thank you. All right, well, if there aren't any other questions specifically for Missy, we're gonna move on and just, oh wait, there's still one more. Somebody asked, I know you mentioned about not waxing and beard trims because of close proximity. Also earlier about massage therapists not being in phase 2. If salons offer lash extensions, will that be something we should hold off on bringing back in phase 2?
We don't offer lash extensions here. I would say as long as they can wear a mask, that would be no different than somebody getting their eyebrows done. You know, I mean, that is it. I would take that. I mean, that's a stylist. That would be a personal, as of right now, you know, a personal opinion, whether they continue that service or discontinue that service just for the time being. But it's hard because the state hasn't released any guidelines. So, you know, the Board of Cosmetology for New York hasn't released any guidelines. So these are just guidelines based on just what other people are posting, what other people are saying, what other states have done.
I guess it would be a question if lash extension is considered a stylist function or something else.
I would say that, I don't know if see, that's where it's difficult because we have a full cosmetology license. Some people have just a nail license and some people have just an esthetician license. So our full cosmetology license covers all 3 of those things. And so with my understanding is estheticians, I don't believe are going to fall under this professional services, as well as massage therapists, nail techs, you know, so our nail techs won't be coming back to work in phase 2 unless they say that nail services is part of the professional services.
Right.
So that's so broad. The cosmetology license, we cover so many things, so that it's hard to, because that's really an esthetician thing. If you could, you know, you could be just an esthetician and do something like that.
And this is where it gets a little, it can be a little confusing for people. So those of you, any of you who are in this industry specifically and are tuning in today to learn about this, you know, the portal, the New York portal has a place where you go in and you log in your license, your license number. Depending on how you're classified, it could say, if like Missy was saying, cosmetology comes up as being okay, like that's something that's allowed. But when you look at the specific services within that, you know, it's right now it says barber and stylist only. So, you know, it's a little tricky. I think moving forward, and I know Marcus will get into this a little bit, I think it's just about, you know, being as safe as possible, having social distancing in place, wearing masks, making sure that you're as safe as you possibly can for you and your customers. And, you know, you're moving forward with the best information that you have.
Right.
Good. Well, thank you very much. Missy, don't go anywhere in case somebody else has a question, but thank you. This was really wonderful. Thanks for sharing everything that you've done.
Thank you.
All right, so getting your business ready. Are you ready? Are you ready for phase 2? Were you supposed to be in phase 1 and you still feel like you're not ready? There's a couple things that we just want to go through with you. I'm going to have Marcus take the first part of this. Marcus, are you on?
Yes, Carrie, I'm here.
Hi. All right, so getting businesses ready. Do you want to take people through just a quick summary of the Safe 6 checklist?
Yes, that'd be great, Carrie. Nice to be with all of you this afternoon. So what you're seeing on your screen now, these 6 points: prepare the building, prepare the workforce, control access, create a social distancing plan, reduce touch points, and increase cleaning, and communicate with confidence. These are the 6 areas that the state is looking for in your plan. So let's very briefly go through each one of these, and I'll give you a little tips from what I've learned along the way in this COVID-19 journey that we're all on, to make sure that your plan is accepted by the state. So number 1, prepare the building. This is cleaning plans, pre-return inspections, air conditioning, heating. Is your building ready to be opened? You know, it's possibly stood empty for a number of weeks. So this would go to ensure the safety of all workers, which is a key point with the state. You know, prepare the building. Top to bottom, do a thorough cleaning. You know, get your supply chains up and running for any products you need. That's just good old common sense. And you and your employees can actually be in the building before it's open to the public, bringing up clerical functions, answering emails that may have piled up, get billing functions up and running, all those things that you really need to do before that first customer walks through the door. The second item here is prepare the workplace. You know, communicate with employees as you do. When do you want them to return to work? At what time? What is their schedule going to be like? Again, the fewer employees in your business at a time will be better for you, so that you can keep your social distancing of 6 feet from anyone else, customer or employee. So it's really a good time to think, if you've had employees working from home, if you have that type of business, can they continue that? Certainly up to you. It may be practical, it may not. The third item, control access. You know, you're certainly going to want to look at the traffic patterns. Do they need to be changed from what they were before in order to keep the social distancing? I know a lot of businesses are talking about installing a plexiglass barrier, sneeze barrier screen if you have a reception counter. So that screen would go plexiglass between your employee and any customers coming in. A lot of folks are thinking about that. Have on hand wipes, disinfect after every customer. Also think about disinfecting anything that customer has touched, a pen, countertops, that type of thing. The fourth item, create a social distancing plan. Yeah, this is huge with the state. You're going to really want to focus on this and list it in your plan to the state. Really need to be 6 foot or more away from people, from any person at any time. You may want to look and see if you can rearrange furniture or desks so that employees can sit at their desk if you have such a business with employees, multiple employees, so that they're at least 6 feet apart. When employees are not 6 feet apart or customers are closer, then masks, facial coverings are required to be worn. So cleaning is important, social distancing is important. Encourage, I have a note here, encourage employees to wash their hands frequently, use hand sanitizers. And it's important when you're at work for you and your employees, try not to touch your face. That really goes a long way to suppressing respiratory diseases like COVID-19 and also the flu. Number 5, reduce touch points and increase cleaning. Touch points, those items that multiple people touch a lot. Copy machine buttons, door handles. You know, if you could disinfect them every hour, that would really be wonderful. One thing I wanted to mention too, which is important, is what to do if a customer comes in and they are sick, or an employee comes to work in the morning and they are sick. What you should do, and this can certainly go in your plan, the state would love it, have a certain remote designated area in mind, maybe a room, a conference room, an office where you could immediately put them in, put a mask on them, and talk to them, recommend, do you have a medical provider? If not, recommend they go up to the emergency room here in Norwich at Chenango Memorial, or if you're in the southern part of the county, down to Binghamton. And then they should be sent off to their doctor or home if it's an employee. And then what you're going to want to do is air out that room and disinfect everything you can in the room. And my recommendation would be not to use that room for probably about 36 hours afterwards. I certainly did want to mention that to you. Another thing to think of is to limit in-person meetings, gatherings in your office of your staff. If you can do Zoom meetings like we're doing now, or teleconferencing, that's certainly recommended. And the last item here is, communicate. Be sure as managers that we are, communicate clearly with your staff, your expectations, ensure leadership aligns with your strategies of what you want done. It just comes down to common sense, good communication within business. Establish good two-way communication so that, your employees feel comfortable in asking you questions. This has been a very stressful time. People are scared to come back to work, and anything you can do to help them feel at ease through just good communication, I think will go an awful long way. So those are the 6 points that you should be focusing on when you sit down to do your business plan that the state requires you to do during your certification period. So back to you, Carrie.
All right, thank you, Marcus. That was a great overview of the areas that the state is looking for that you've looked at. Hopefully most of you have already started taking a look at those and thinking how you can implement them in your own businesses, but thank you. Just real quick, for those who are phase 1 and then when phase 2 opens, the self-certification process, when you go to Forward New York website and you go to industry guidelines, under every phase and every industry in every phase, it gives you these blue boxes just like this, view summary guidelines, and that's where it has each industry and what they need to be thinking about, what they need to be doing. Read and affirm detailed guidelines, that's where you actually go in and certify your business that you are opening, that you've read what they've said, that you're going to follow the instructions that they have. You have to sign that. And it's an online, it takes you right to an online form. You just fill it out, you submit it, and you're done. As in the control room, we get a copy of that list every day. So as businesses are done the next day, we get a copy and I share it with public health. So we all have a copy. We know which businesses have been certified and which, so if you're not on the list and we know that you're open, we may be contacting you and trying to help you walk you through that list. The other part of this is print the safety plan template. I know you've heard a little bit about that already today. And so to help you with that, actually pulled this together. This is what the template looks like. The template is the same no matter what industry you're in, at least for right now, I should say that. So if you look at the phase 1, the 4 or 5 different industries that are listed, this template is the same for every single one. It's a PDF, you fill it out, you print it out, you have a copy of it in your location. If you have more than one location, you must have it in every location, but it just walks you through all those things that Marcus just talked about. And it wants you to check off that, yes, I'm going to do this. And then some places it asks you for details. So, you know, here at Commerce Chenango, we are essential business. We've been open since the beginning. I have one of these plans. I have one in my office. There's one at the front desk. You know, it talks about how we're tracking visitors, how we're cleaning. You know, it's going to be different for every business, but it's good. You know, this is something you can do now if you haven't yet. Just go to any of the ones that are on there right now, download this, start taking a look at it. This is what you have to have in your place of business in case there was an inspection or something. Let me, do we need to certify again if you were phase 1? No. If you've been open and you were phase 1, then you know you don't need to recertify. And I know the question comes up a lot about essential businesses. So if you are an essential business, right now there is not a spot on the portal for you to certify. But what there is if you're an essential business and one of your phases, if you fall within one of those phase industries, then yes, you need to go in and certify. It's a little not clear. I know I've been told that they're working on a place for essential businesses to actually have a certification spot. But if you have any questions on that, please let myself or Marcus know. I don't know what is on this, but all right, Marcus, I'm gonna have you take it back over. I know we get a lot of questions about enforcement and regulations surrounding all this. So I'm going to let Marcus talk about it from the public health perspective.
Okay, it appears that complaints from customers or from employees that a certain business isn't cleaning properly, they're not doing social distancing, all those issues we talked about earlier. It appears that the Chenango County Health Department will actually receive that complaint. I do have enforcement authority, but I want all of you to know what my philosophy is with enforcement as businesses start to open. I realize it's been a real hardship for businesses to have been closed these last couple months. I want to partner with you. I don't want to make it hard for you. I want to do everything I can to help you open your business and be successful as you do that. So what's going to happen is if I receive a complaint related to the issues we've talked about, social distancing, cleaning, and all of that, what I'm going to do is give you a call, discuss the complaint, talk with you about your plan, and together we will try to figure out what went wrong and why that complaint happened, and make changes to the plan, make changes to the way you do things, and implement those changes, and then we move on. Again, I want to partner with you on this so that you can be successful. Not going to be heavy-handed with enforcement. Where I would get into enforcement is basically if a business just refused to work with me on this. And then, you know, unfortunately, there could be a closure, a fine, a possible court appearance, but I am really working toward not going down that road with any business in Chenango County. So I would ask you to please, you know, work with Carrie, work with myself. We want you to be successful. Next slide. Okay, this was from Governor Cuomo this morning. As you probably know, he does daily 11:30 or 12 o'clock press conferences, and this was from today. Governor Cuomo stated, quote, "Today I am signing an executive order authorizing businesses to deny entry to those who do not wear a mask or face coverings." So Carrie and I wanted you certainly to be aware of that. So this will give you as a business owner legal authority to deny anyone from entering your business without a mask or a face covering. If you have a mask and your customer doesn't, you can certainly give them a mask, and it doesn't actually have to be an actual mask. A face covering can be a scarf, it can be a piece of cloth, but they have to have their face covered while they're at your place of business. Carrie, did you want to say anything about this also?
Yeah, just, you know, I think, you know, like Marcus said, we're all just trying to do the right thing and work together. And, you know, this is something that's come up quite a bit. I know there's a lot of anxiety over business owners being able to enforce this. Some don't want to enforce it. They're fearing, you know, they have a fear that they're going to turn away customers. You know, I think this is something that's there to help everybody. You know, it's to protect you, it's to protect your customers. I think the last thing you want to do is lose customers because they don't want to come in because they think you're not enforcing it. You know, so I think this executive order helps clear up some of those questions about whether this is required or not. You know, Marcus and I talk about this quite a bit because we get phone calls about this, and we're gonna talk about this later. But we actually did come up with a couple of these, you know, memes about, you know, just being considerate and kind to one another. You know, the act of kindness that you have by wearing a mask. You know, we just need to do everything that we can to help each other right now. So and so now you have this in your back pocket. If you felt before like you weren't able to say something, you didn't want to make somebody upset, you know, now this is something official. We do have a question. Because there's so many. I'm not. Oh, sorry, Kelly. I'm trying to decipher your message here. Oh, that the New York's. Oh, she said because so many business owners are on the call, she wanted to share that the New York State of Health open enrollment ends June 15th. So if that's something that your business is also dealing with right now, you know, Kelly is on the call. You can reach out to her. We also had a question too about bars. You know, I think we're bars, restaurants are, I believe, phase 3 right now. You know, we always talk about it's never final until it's final, and even then it could be, you know, changed. So I think we'll just continue to monitor what the state puts up as far as the guidelines on that. But, you know, yes, bars are not supposed to be open right now. That's not something that is allowed. You know, I think a lot of restaurants that have a bar service are offering takeout. You know, you come get your food and come get your drinks, and so that's been a nice way that they can try to offer something. But bars right now are not available. Sorry. So just again, just a note about, you know, phase 2. That's what we're looking at moving forward. Tentatively, this is tomorrow, but just once again, please make sure you're checking the New York Forward website. I'm sure the second that stuff is available online, it'll be blasted everywhere. So you'll definitely know if you fall into phase 2. And so this is the part that Matt was going to do. And Marcus, I want to quickly just run through so then we can get to questions about, there's a lot of questions that we field about the opening of the county offices. I know this is big for many of our business owners. They need a lot of the services there. And so Marcus, do you want to take this part over?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Carrie. So we're kind of transitioning now into reopening of the county office building. and I really want to wish each and every one of you and your businesses the best as you look to reopen. So, okay, the county office building has started to reopen too. I know we've included this because I know a lot of you come to the county office building, to the different departments to do business. And I'm not going to read these slides word for word. You can read the screen, but we're doing the same basic things as businesses are to open up. The cleanliness, the social distancing, notify workers, when to report, and such. I think one of the things Carrie and I wanted to impress is that the county office building is opening in phases, just like the state has given businesses and the economy the different phases. So the far left column, already open. These are the departments that have been open through this emergency because they were considered essential. Phase one, we're getting in the economy. Phase one is coming to an end, as is phase one for the opening of the county office building. So the center column, these are the businesses that have been open for the last 2 weeks. And phase two is the far right column. As you look to open, here's a list of the departments in the county office building that are also looking to open. Okay, here we are on the next slide, and we've listed for you phase 3 and phase 4, and we actually have a phase 5 where we can completely open the building up just like it was before the COVID-19 public health emergency. So.
Okay, good, thank you.
There it is. I think we could go to the next slide.
Thanks, Marcus. I won't tell Matt you replaced him. We'll make sure we have Matt back on again, but thank you for covering that.
Yes.
So real quick, before we get to questions, I do want to note, so Faith Favre has joined us on the call today. Faith is one of our colleagues. She works for Congressman Brindisi. We work with Faith very closely here in Chenango County and with Commerce Chenango. I know she's a huge help to me. Faith, are you still on? Did you want to say just a few minutes, few things?
I think I'm on.
You're good.
So I just wanted to let everybody know, you know, how much I count on Chenango County a lot. I know you guys are doing a fantastic job at keeping people updated with the phases, and, you know, I think it's really beneficial. I just wanted to chime in a couple things. Number one is, you know, our office is always available. We're still working. We're not physically in the office, but we're still working. So if anybody needs anything, please let me know, let Carrie know. She can get in touch with me super quick. The one thing I wanted to let people know is if you know of a business that we have a new bill that I don't know whether it passed or not today, but we did vote on it, and it's a PPP Flexibility Act. And so we're looking to kind of help out. I think it's going to benefit mostly, you know, restaurants and bar owners on some of this unemployment, you know, and funding that should be coming available. So we're hoping that we can get that passed through the House. If that does happen today, I will send a message to Carrie, and she can send out all of the information to everybody. Of course, it still has to pass through the Senate, but it's a bipartisan bill, so we're hoping that it will. So I just wanted to let people know that we're still working hard, and thank you all for everything that you do. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, Faith. Thank you for your continued advocacy, and to Congressman Brindisi for everything he does for us. So we really appreciate it. So I have just a couple more slides. I'm going to continue to monitor the chat window. So if anybody has any questions for any of our speakers, they're all still on here. I'd be happy to share that to them. And then even when the presentation's over, if something comes up later or as the phase 2 guidance rolls out, if you have specific questions, please let me know, let Marcus know. You know, both of our offices are very up to date on everything, and we'll do the best we can to help. Something new that I wanted to talk to all of you about, since most of you are business owners, we're working with Chenango County Bureau Emergency Management Services, and they have hand sanitizer to distribute to businesses. So I'm working with Matt Beckwith. We just launched this survey. If you are a Chenango County business and you need hand sanitizer, they have it. So what we're trying to do is assess the needs of our businesses, trying to find out how many employees you have, how much you think you need. That we are going to arrange a few pickup days at the Sheriff's Office up behind Lowe's here in Norwich. This is open to anyone in Chenango County, but all we're asking is that you fill out the survey. We will contact you with distribution days and times. The first distribution day will be next week, so the sooner you get registered through here, we're going to continue this as long as we have hand sanitizer. He has quite a bit of it, so you don't have to rush it, but definitely if you think, especially as you look at the phases, even down the road, if you think you're going to open and you're going to need access to this, I just want to let you know that we do have it. So we did share this out on through our social media pages. If you are a member of Commerce Chenango, it's going to be in today's memo, and then there's the URL right there where you go to fill out the survey.
Carrie?
Oh, yeah.
This is Mark. I did get a update from Matt Beckwith on this topic before we got on.
Oh, good.
Everything you've said is accurate. Matt has let me know this is free hand sanitizer. He has 2-ounce, fluid ounce spray bottles and gallon jug refills. And he also has masks, surgical masks, free. He is looking at a pickup date, as Carrie said, next Tuesday, July 2nd, and Thursday, July 4th, from both days from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. At the Chenango County Public Safety Building. You drive up, you never leave your car. You go up the hill by Lowe's, actually go past the Public Safety Building and Jail on your left, go past it, and then turn in there, and there'll be people that will assist you. But this is, you know, free hand sanitizers, free masks. It's a good deal, and you never leave your vehicle. They'll speak with you right in the car and load the vehicle for you.
And just to note, Marcus, it's June 2nd and June.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say?
Don't wish away our summer yet.
Yes, next week. Next week.
Great.
Tuesday, June 2nd, Thursday, June 4th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah, you're welcome. A question was just submitted to about phase 2 is only for stylists and barbers. So does that mean you won't have a nail tech in the salon during phase 2? Missy, do you want to take that one? Oh, hang on, you're muted. Go ahead. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, our nail techs will not be starting with us until we get guidance from the state. And I mean, as of now, we're not even starting because we don't even know. So no nail techs.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Another question came up about racetracks opening up in phase 2 without spectators. This is something that we've been working on pretty diligently. If you watch the governor every day, like all of us do, you did hear that he did open Watkins Glen with non-spectators about a week or so ago. So in the control room, I asked that question that very day and said, well, you know, what about the other racetracks in the counties? I know we have a couple here. Right now, racetracks are not part of this. They are not in phase 2. They're considered recreation, but I can tell you that there's a lot of momentum there. You know, they've opened it up since making that declaration. They've since opened up, you know, the horse track racing, and then now horse training facilities. And so the questions come up: well, can racetracks open for practices? That's something that they're considering. I know that there's been some proposals submitted regarding just recreational dirt tracks, racetracks, not for racing, not for spectators. So right now, racetracks are not part of phase 2, but I would tell you to just keep watching for that, and we might see some momentum on that in the next week or 2. Quick update on Fueling the Front Line if you've been following this initiative. So we had a pretty ambitious goal of raising $10,000, and I'm very happy to say that we're very close to that goal. We have raised $9,430 for our Fueling the Front Line initiative. We've provided 428 meals to frontline workers throughout Chenango County, throughout all of the communities, and we've used a total of 27 restaurants. We've really spread this out. We've used restaurants from all over the county. We've gone to facilities everywhere. It's been really well received. We're very happy to do it. We're happy to show our appreciation and show our thanks to our frontline workers. So we do have a GoFundMe page if you'd like to donate. We're accepting checks, obviously, to the Chenango Foundation here in Norwich. And thank you to everybody who's contributed to this. It's been a wonderful program. We've had some businesses that have donated as well, personal donations. So it's really been a wonderful. Somebody asked about church services. So the latest information that we received about church was that the gathering of 10 people or less is allowed. And so that does mean in churches, but only in groups of 10. I do know that there was talk about if you could do something in a parking lot, in a car, if nobody got out, or in a drive-in. So those things have been allowed, but as far as church services actually in a church, that 10-person rule still applies. And that's to everybody. So if you're gonna have somebody sing and your minister or your priest and then the people attending, you just have to think of a way that you can do that and stay within the 10-person rule. Marcus, did you have anything about that you wanted to say, or is that pretty in line with everything that you understand? I think we lost Marcus for a sec. Okay. So just moving on real quick. So we did show a couple of these memes earlier that we did. I just want to close out the webinar today with this message of moving forward together in a positive way. We're trying to do the best we can to combat a lot of this, and we're trying to stay upbeat as possible. Everyone knows I'm usually upbeat. So I had the staff, they actually had a lot of fun making some of these memes. We created an album on our Facebook page, the Commerce Chenango Facebook page, called Let's Help Each Other. And there's maybe 15 or 20 different memes throughout it. And so these are just a few examples of some of them. Some of them are lighthearted, some of them are serious. The cow one cow length apart is social distancing in Chenango County. And the staff keeps making them, which I love. They're very, very motivated by, I guess, just having fun, but they've really done a great job creating these. And we just keep adding them to our album that we have online. Here's a few others that I do love the I Declare one by The Office. I'm a huge Office fan. So, but just lighthearted and just ways to get people to think about this in a positive way, moving forward together. It's everybody's responsibility to educate each other on what we have to do to keep moving forward. And if we could all help each other do that and provide the facts and what's going on, where to go for resources. I'm a resource. Everyone here at Commerce Chenango is a resource. I know Marcus and his staff is a resource. We have Matt. All of us, I know the people who serve on our board, they're all very supportive of this and staying as up to date as possible. So we're all here for you as we continue to move forward the phase-in process. So just thank you so much for attending today. We still, if you have any additional questions that we didn't get to, feel free to contact me. My phone number is on. Contact Public Health, Emergency Management Services. We will be posting this recording here shortly as well, so you can share it with anyone who wasn't able to attend today. And we will plan to do this again for phase 3. And I'm just hoping that when we come to phase 3, we'll have some guidance a little sooner than we did for this one. But please just keep checking back to the New York Forward page. That's where you're going to get the most up-to-date information. Follow Commerce Chenango through social media. We post everything there as well. And thank you so much for attending today. Thank you to our speakers too. You did a fabulous job. Thank you to Missy and to JR for joining us. We're glad that you could be a part of this.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.